तपाईहरु हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ गुड मर्निङ नेपाल।
गुड मर्निङ नेपाल।
गुड मर्निङ नेपाल।
ब्रेकपछि पुनः स्वागत छ। यहाँ हुनुहुन्छ गुड मर्निङ नेपालमा। कान्तिपुर टेलिभिजन हेर्नु भएको छ तपाईँ। मैले अघि नै भनेको थिएँ कि ब्रेकमा जानुभन्दा अगाडि कि अब यदि तपाईँ अमेरिका र क्यानाडामा आफ्नो हायर स्टडी पर्स्यु गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ र तपाईसँग चाहिँ फाइनान्शियल कन्स्ट्रेन्ट छ भने तपाईले आतिनु पर्दैन, किनभने त्यसलाई सघाउ गराउनलाई भनेर एम्पावर फाइनेन्सिङ आइसकेको छ नेपालमा। र नेपालमा चाहिँ विद्यार्थीहरूलाई उहाँहरूले कसरी सहुलियत प्रदान गर्नुहुन्छ, स्टुडेन्ट एजुकेसन लोन कसरी प्रोभाइड गर्नुहुन्छ भन्ने बारेमा आज हामी कुराकानी गर्छौँ। कुराकानीको लागि हाम्रो स्टुडियोमा आइसक्नु भएको छ क्लेयर आलमन्ड। उहाँ चाहिँ एसोसिएट डाइरेक्टर हुनुहुन्छ अफ मार्केटिङ एम्पावर फाइनेन्सिङ। र कुराकानी गर्ने हो भने सी हेज बीन in this business for more than 15 years. Claire Almand has built her career where human behavior, marketing and technology meet. And during her MBA, she discovered the Empower Financing and was inspired by the mission of Empower Financing. And now she is empowering global students through Empower Financing. So let me welcome our guest, Claire Almand, in our studio. Claire, welcome to our show.
Oh, thank you so much.
So let's start our conversation with your visit to Nepal. So is this your first time to Nepal or you have been earlier?
I've been here once before. I did a trek on Poon Hill, actually.
Poon Hill, trekking also?
Yeah, it was awesome.
You love trekking?
I love trekking.
Are you a solo trekker or you want to go with the group?
I do both. I do both. It depends on how long the trek is.
Okay.
But yeah, it's my favorite hobby.
Beside that, the trekking, what are your hobbies?
I like reading. I do a lot of just traveling, to be honest. And so I live in India half of the year, actually. And so the food there is incredible. And so I'm excited to eat in Nepal as well.
And talking about Nepali food, what do you love the most?
Oh, dal bhat.
Dal bhat tarkari.
Yeah. Simple but delicious.
Okay, now let's come to the point. So you have come to Nepal with a mission.
I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's that mission?
Yeah, to make socioeconomic mobility borderless is Empower's mission. We want to make sure any deserving student that wants to study abroad is able to do so, and finances should not be a barrier.
But talking about the Nepali students, there's always been a main barrier is the finance.
Of course.
So how could Empower Financing help Nepali people to gain their goal in abroad studies?
Yeah, so we're a little different than the Nepali banks. We are a no cosigner, no collateral product, and so that means we don't care about your house. We don't want to look into your family. We care about you and your profile. And so if you're a high achieving student, we want to fund you for your master's degree. And so we have an innovative algorithm that allows us to figure out exactly how much money we should give to a student, and that's what we do.
That means no collateral, no cosigner.
Correct, yeah.
That's the one of a kind thing for Nepalese student,
Yeah, so sometimes people tell us that sounds too good to be true. So I've heard that quite a lot actually, but our co-founders, when they were in school, they had to work several jobs to make it through school, and they said, there must be a better way. And so that's when they started Empower 11 years ago. And so 11 years later, we funded 25,000 students.
Worldwide?
Worldwide,
okay.
Yes. And so these students have gone on to do amazing things back in their home country. Some have stayed in the United States and Canada. And so, it's just been so inspiring helping these students, and looking at the trends in Nepal, we see that Nepal could be our next great market.
Okay, you talk about the mission of the Empower Financing, but could you elaborate about your missions and what kind of students you primarily serve?
Sure. So our big mission right now is to help master students primarily.
Okay.
And so let's say an MBA or a Master's of Computer Science are some of the most common degrees. And what we see from those degrees is that those types of students are able to get really good jobs later on, which I'm sure most people care about, that economic mobility for themselves and their families. And so because we've been doing that for so long, we have so much data that tells us, which students really make sense. And so in Nepal, we just see wonderful trends for STEM, for computer science. And so we're really interested now in this market based on those trends.
STEM means science, technology?
Oh yeah, so that's science, pardon me, that's science, technology, engineering, math, as well as some health, and also business for MBA.
So, so the students who wants to do only master degree in that the particular field, they can apply for the financial support, or other also can get the fund from the MPOWER.
So it's a little bit more challenging for students that aren't in those degrees because ultimately, because it's no cosigner, no collateral, we're basing these decisions on a student's future potential.
Okay.
So the salaries and economic mobility are much better for those STEM degrees. So we can fund other degrees, but sometimes those salaries just don't make sense depending on how much money they need. And so the way it works is we put all this data in our algorithm. And based on our data, we figure out exactly how much money a student could make over 10 years, and that's what we give them. So it's very fair.
So that means the tenure for to pay back loan is for up to 10 years, or
it's up to 10 years, but the average repayment is actually 5 years.
Okay.
So most of our students pay it back much faster because of that degree. They're now able to be extremely successful either in the U.S. or back here in their home country.
Earlier you mentioned that we are very different from the other financial institution or banks. So how is MPOWER different from other banks or traditional banks or other financial institutes?
Yep, so I already mentioned no cosigner, no collateral, so I'll skip that. One big thing is that we offer fixed rate interest rates, and so most banks, the interest rate changes with the market conditions. At MPOWER, we know that's really stressful for students. You don't want your payment changing or increasing every month. So for us, once you sign that loan offer, the interest rate never changes, your payment stays the same. And so that makes us really different than traditional banks. The other item is that we're in USD, or we pay in dollars to the school. So if your home country currency goes down or up, that doesn't matter. You still have enough money for school, which is great for the student.
So talking about funds, do the funds directly go to the students, or you pay to the universities?
Yeah, so we pay directly to the university. The way it typically works is, let's say you need a loan for $30,000. So what we would do is we talk to your school and say, how much do they need this first semester? The school would tell us. We send them money. And then whatever the living expenses are, the school wires to the student. So it makes it very simple for the student. Once the loan offer is signed, the student doesn't have to worry about anything. We communicate directly with the school, and the school pays the student.
Okay. So talking about that, if the student they don't need the family home loan or the land or any collateral or cosigner, so what criteria do you use to access the students' eligibility and the potential? That's the main thing, Otherwise, all the people they say that you don't need
Everyone's
nothing.
Going to want it, yeah. So there's a few different things we look at. This is a really great question. One is you need to be going to one of the top schools in the U.S. and Canada. There are 500 schools that we have really good data for. And this data shows us if you go to this school, you're probably going to get a really good job. We don't work with schools where international students aren't successful. So that's the first part. The second part is they need to have a pretty good profile. If you got into school...
Profile as in?
Let's say test scores, transcripts, maybe a resume, but whatever you use to apply to school, we'll also ask you about that information. So if you're good enough to get into a really good school, you're probably good enough for MPOWER. The last requirement is it needs to be a 2-year degree or less. So typically a master's program is 2 years, so that works for most students.
So where do you currently provide the services, especially you are focusing on certain programs of degrees in the US and Canada, such as STEAM and Masters or MBA. So what are the services that you provide? In context of Nepal, the visa service is also very important,
So because we care so much about students, we have a bunch of other services that we offer. So one is we have some admissions support. So if you're someone that really wants to study abroad, but you're not sure where to get started, we have a program right now where you can sign up and take classes with us to figure out exactly how to get into school for those that maybe need a little bit more support. Then we help with the visa journey as well. So we know this can be stressful for a lot of students, just, visas are in the news a lot. And so what we do is we have a course for our students that if you accept your loan offer, you get a free comprehensive course, so you do put your best foot forward for that F1 visa interview. We also have a partner that we do live sessions with, And so you can do mock interviews live with our counselors, as well as just learn direct from them how strong you are at that interview. There's a few other services too that you can find on our website, but the one program I'm most excited by and I want to mention is our career services program. We call it.
You also provide career service?
We do. We call it our Career Accelerator. We just launched it, let's say, a few months ago. And so we know that students also, they typically go abroad to get a nice job. So when they're in school, what we do is we give them coaching the entire time. There's a course that we provide. So they are putting the best resume online for a US market. They are attending interviews and doing their best. And through this coursework and through these webinars, our students are able to compete much better than the other students who are currently studying. And so we've had a great response so far from these services. And so, you know, how many other lenders out there are helping with admissions, visas, and making sure you get a job?
And also job placement also, you know.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So talking about, you know, the maximum loan amount, so what is the limit of the maximum limit, or do I need, if I'm willing to get the, you know, loan from the MPOWER Financing, so do I need to take the whole amount as a loan, or do I take partially loan?
That's a great question, and that also makes us different. So the max amount is $100,000 USD.
Oh, that's a big amount.
It is a big amount. School in the US and Canada, a little bit expensive. And so the way it works is, let's say you need $20,000 your first semester. You think that's how much you need. So like I said earlier, we're going to pay your school. That money is going to go to you. But let's say you get a scholarship. You would just let MPOWER and your school know, hey, I got a scholarship. I need less money. We would then send a lower amount to the school. The school would send a lower amount to you, and you would pay nothing on the money you don't use. So let me give a better example. So you need $20,000 your first semester and $20,000 your second semester. We send the money to the school the first semester, everything's normal. But you get an on-campus job and a scholarship your second semester, and you call your school, say, hey, I don't need any more money. All the other money you are approved for just sits over here. You never pay anything on it, and if you graduate without using that money, you never pay a fee on it, you never pay interest, it just goes away. But let's say you run into a health issue, or let's say you need more money. You would just call your school and say, hey, I do need that money, and then this money sitting over here can actually go to you. So it's really flexible. Most banks pay a processing fee on that entire loan amount because they want to make some money. We're here for the, it's a business, but we're here for the student, and we know that that flexibility is really important because sometimes you need more money and sometimes you don't.
So that's why you are different from other banks, you know?
Absolutely. You know, it's actually better for us if you take the right size loan and you're able to pay us back. We don't want students to be unable to pay us back. That's sort of bad for the student and bad for us.
So student, they go abroad to seek better opportunities, better job, and, you know, better education. So job that they get from the colleges or the part-time job, is that enough for them to pay back the loan or something like that? Or do they have to work harder, you know? Yeah,
so our students say yes so far. Our default rate is actually lower than 1%.
Lower than 1%?
Yeah,
that's great.
Exactly. So our students are actually able to, and so, you know, don't take my word for it. Then it's in the data. Yeah. So was your question, so in school, most students do get an on-campus job. After that first year, they'll often get an internship to get that real-world job experience. And then in the second year, many of them continue that internship. Once they've graduated, there's a 6-month grace period where you don't need to pay back the principal amount. After that, our students are very successful.
Yeah, we talk about the principles, but I think you might not have that authority to announce the interest rate also. But is that the different from other banks, or they're lower than other banks, or same amount?
Yeah, so our interest rate starts at 9.99 with an APR of 10.89. That's annual percentage rate. It's a fun US term. But what that means is that because we're a fixed rate loan, once you're approved for that interest rate, that's your rate forever. So nothing is changing with the market conditions. And so I believe we're actually quite competitive with Nepal loans. But there's a few options I think that may be a little lower, but they do require that cosigner, that collateral. And what they don't tell you is they have a lot of other fees. So MPOWER only has a one-time fee on the money we send to the school. What we've learned is that a lot of local players charge you for a processing fee, currency conversion, health insurance,
blah, blah,
if you
blah,
expire, like there's a long list of fees, and I even get a headache talking about it. So really, we're simple, we're transparent, and so you don't have to take my word for it. You can go online and see what our students have to say about us. We have testimonials on YouTube and a really good rating on Trustpilot.
So now many viewers watching our program might be interested in pursuing their MBA or master degree in US and Canada, and they are now just have heard about the MPOWER. So what is the process that they should, how they can contact to you?
Yeah, so we're fully digital. Another way we're different. So way it works is you go to our website, MPOWERfinancing.com. It takes 30 seconds to see if you're eligible for us. So if you're not sure if we make sense, go to our website and we'll tell you. After that, there's a 30-minute application. You just put in the information online. If you're a really strong candidate, you'll get an immediate offer.
Okay.
If you maybe are a less strong candidate, a human will look at your application and you'll hear back in 3 to 5 business days. If everything works out, we'll ask you for some documents supporting what you said, and that's it. Entire process.
As simple as that?
It is that simple.
Okay. Now, my question is, if a student from Nepal, they go to US or Canada to pursue the degree, and they think that, okay, now I should come back to my country and serve them.
Sure.
So do they come back, and do they get chance to pay back from the loan from their home country as well?
Absolutely. So some of our students decide to stay, some of our students come back to Nepal, India, etc. And we have a partner known as Flywire. They make sure that you can pay us easily at anywhere around the world. You have internet. At a very low charge to you. So it's essentially, no matter where in the world you are, you're actually able to pay us back. Our students need to do, in computer science, in energy, in health, they make really good salaries no matter where they go. And so that US education or Canadian education really bolsters their chances. And like I said, that low default rate, they're able to pay us back.
And talking about the interest rate, okay, do they have to, consider the same rate that they get loan, or do they get any concession or any discount if they come back to them?
So if we're really flexible would be what I want to say. And so what we do is if you need a different payment plan, let's say that, hey, I run into hardship, I've gone back to my country, whatever it is, you just need to contact our servicing team and we'll chat with you about what actually makes sense for you. It doesn't make sense for us to overcharge a student if they're unable to pay. And so what students sometimes do, though, is they come back to their home country and they don't talk to us, so we can't help them. So as long as the student tells us what's happening, we'll absolutely work with them to make sure that whatever the payment plan that works for them will also work for us.
As you already said that you have very small amount of defaulters. So what happens if a student can't pay back the loan?
Yep, so that happens once in a while. And so in those cases, unfortunately, if someone passes away or other circumstances, yes, we will, MPOWER takes the hit. It does happen occasionally, but that really doesn't happen actually. In our underwriting, I think if you're a student that's put in 5 years of effort to advance your career, you're an all-star. That's not the type of person to run away, actually. So that's why our default rate is so low. So far in our data over the last 11 years, our students choose to pay, and they want that all-star career. So
when we talk about US and Canada, there's always the credit history that always matters. So beyond the loan, so what resources does MPOWER provide to help Nepali students to build US credit history or manage their finances when they are in US or Canada successfully?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Many people don't know that when you move countries, your credit history doesn't move with it. So if you have a good credit score in Nepal,
that doesn't matter.
It's a 0 in the US, and so you're starting from scratch. And so when I needed my first car, I had to get a car loan and they checked my credit score. When I needed my first apartment, they checked my credit score to see if I could do the security deposit and if I was even eligible. When I was promoted to director, they checked my credit to make sure I'm good with money. And so where I'm going with this is actually a good credit history is really important in the US and Canada. And so MPOWER is here to help. What we do is once you're in the US and you're making on-time payments, we report that immediately to the credit bureaus. So that way, whenever you actually need that credit score, typically a few years after school, you have a really strong credit score. And so you're on the same footing as Americans, which is great. Yeah.
So basically, I wanted to ask this question very earlier when we started the conversation, but I forgot that. So what makes you empowered to come to Nepal and serve the Nepali student?
Yeah.
What's the main thing that you came to Nepal?
So what we saw in the data is that there are over 6,500 students from Nepal last year going for their masters in the United States and Canada. That is a huge amount of young people that really want to bolster their careers. And unlike some other countries, we see that increasing, actually. And as well as, I'm not sure Nepali know this, your visa rates are actually quite good. And so we see a lot of potential in Nepal. And so recently, we've had a lot of your local players reach out to us and ask, hey, can we do a partnership? And so we've recently started some partnerships.
In Nepal?
Of course, with a few agencies as well as some of your local consultants. And so based on some of the information they've shared with us, we know over the next year, we can do amazing things for students in Nepal. So that's the main reason we decided to come, a lot of strong data and sort of your local businesses contacting us saying, we think there's a great opportunity.
So that opportunity would be also to our local partners and as well as the other educational consultancies also.
Absolutely.
Do you provide them a kind of service over in Nepal so that they can be in contact with the students and empower or bridge the student and empower?
We do actually. So over the next week, I'm attending a lot of different partner events.
How long are you staying in Nepal?
I'll be here for a week. So,
so you have a very busy schedule?
Oh my gosh. They have packed it in. I am going trekking one day.
Oh, okay.
So one day. But otherwise, we'll be visiting all the education consultants. They have events where they're bringing students for us to meet. And so we can help support the consultancies so they can best advise students. But absolutely. We're trying to set up those local consultancies for success with our students. And so soon, we're also going to have a phone line where students can call our Nepal partner, and so they can talk to us directly to get advice as well.
Are you also having some kind of interaction with the students in this week?
Yep, so we're doing a coffee day where students that have reached out to MPOWER, we're inviting them to come meet us and see, we're real.
र तपाईँ पनि यदि हुन्छ नि अब एम्पावरमा चाहिँ कसरी जाने भन्ने बारेमा सोध्दै हुनुहुन्छ के गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ भने अघि नै क्ल्यारले भनिसक्नु भएको छ कि अब त्यो एम्पावर फाइनेन्सिङको वेबसाइटमा गएर पनि तपाईँ सब हेर्न सक्नुहुन्छ होइन भने यदि इन पर्सन मिट गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ भने क्ल्यार इज अलवेज देयर होइन उहाँ एक हप्तासम्म हुनुहुन्छ तपाईँ त्यसको आफ्नो लाभ पनि उठाउनुहोस् भनेर भन्न चाहन्छौँ हामी क्ल्यार एज यु मेन्सन द्याट द education in US and Canada is different from others,
Yeah.
So that's why the students, they are willing to go to US and Canada to pursue their master's degree. So other than that, okay, in Nepal, talking about the students who wants to go abroad, they are also willing to go to the other countries. So why students should choose US and Canada for their master's degree?
Yeah, so we're very data driven. So I always encourage people to look at the data. In STEM and computer science and in most of these careers, you will make more money than any other country. And United States and Canada are different in that you can start from nothing and still make it to the top. Like many of our startups in the United States, Google, these are all immigrants. And so in the United States, we are a melting pot. We depend on immigrants. And so when you come here, well, not here, but when you go to
US or Canada,
yeah, but when you go to the US, you have the opportunity to start a company. You have the opportunity to, whatever your dream is, you can pursue it and still make a lot of money. And maybe that supports your family, maybe that supports your future family. And so that career mobility is unparalleled in the US and Canada once you have a master's degree.
So as you talk about the family, because the student who is going to have the master degree in US or Canada, they might probably have their family over here in Nepal. So do the MPOWER provide loans to the family members to go to US or Canada or not?
No, so we just, it's just to the students, and we're paying from the US to the US institution or the Canadian institution. There typically isn't money going back and forth between the US and Nepal, and that goes back to the currency fluctuation once again. You don't want the currency in Nepal's changes to affect your schooling.
What if the student, they want to take their family to the US or Canada? Do they have to start from zero and on another procedure? Or?
So that depends a little on their visa situation. You would just apply a little bit differently to see if you could bring your family. Some people do bring a family and some people don't. So ultimately, I would do your research on visas to see if it makes sense for you to bring your family. The US is expensive, so maybe you need a bigger loan to make that work, but some of our students definitely bring families and others choose to finish school and then think a little bit about that.
So you already mentioned that you half of the time you stay in in India, and talking about South Asian, when we talk about South Asian region, we have the similar kind of perception about the abroad study. So how is Nepal different from other South Asian country in context of the students tending to go to US and Canada for the further study?
Yeah, so India and Nepal both have a huge infrastructure already on studying abroad. We find in some other countries, they're new to loans, they're new to study abroad, and so they have more basic questions. We find in India and Nepal, however, so many people already know about study abroad. A lot of people have family members that went abroad, and so they're a little bit more informed, actually. And so I think some candidates from Nepal and India are both ask really good questions. And they really understand. They've done their research a lot of times, where sometimes other countries, this whole opportunity is so new. They never dreamed of going abroad. In Nepal, we see people are super driven already because they know about the opportunity. Same thing for India. There's a lot of that drive and ambition, which is really great to see.
But our society, they call it as it's not a brain gain, but also brain drain.
Yeah. So
is that a problem or an opportunity? What do you think?
Definitely.
Going abroad and having master's degree in reputed colleges and coming back to Nepal or coming back to the nation and serving nation.
I think it's an opportunity because what it does is it does a few things. You get to come to another country, and there are so many international students there and American citizens where you get exposed to the globe. You have classmates from China, you have classmates from Spain. And so you get the benefit of learning from people from all over the world. You see how things are done all over the world once again, and then you can bring that back to your home community and help make it better in whatever way you're passionate about. And so we've had students go back to Africa actually and start clean water, clean energy businesses. We've had students go back to their families and take over the family business and be able to really grow the business because they now have international connections. And so those connections and friendships you make in the US, the education and knowledge actually helps the rest of the world, because while you come and learn, you can then bring it back to other places.
And what it feels when you heard about the success story of the students that you provide loan in the colleges, and they go back to their homeland, and then they solve and they earn a lot of money and name and fame. So how it feels?
I think I've talked to a few students like this, and sometimes they actually start crying. They're so
emotional,
so grateful that many of them, when you start this journey, you have a lot of fear and anxiety. You don't know if it's possible. There are many stages where maybe it won't work. And so on the other side, looking back and going, wow, I did it, and now my family can feel the benefits. And then my community can feel the benefits. These students are just, it's hard to describe the emotions they have and how grateful they are for the opportunity, but also just these become they're all-stars. And so they inspire other people around them. And so they're not just motivating themselves anymore, their communities just rise with them. And I think that's just lovely.
That's why you have that power thing in your organization, empower.
Empower yourself, empower everyone else.
we have almost come to the end of our conversation. So the major takeaway to the students and their parents also, because you know when in Nepal, when the students they want to go pursue their degree in abroad or go abroad for their study, they have to talk to their parents because they need collateral, they need cosigner. So what do you want to say to the students who are willing to go to US and Canada for the study, and the parents who are willing to send their kids to US and Canada?
So the journey is not going to be easy, it never is, but the payoff is extremely worth it if you know you are driven, you want to go into STEM, and you have a vision for making yourself better as well as your community. So what we see is if you have that clarity around sort of that drive to really go make a difference, we see those students just crushing every obstacle, and they're able to come and just do more than they've ever thought before, which is wonderful. So to the parents and students, it's possible. I want you to know that it's possible to study abroad and to do great things that maybe you didn't imagine.
And if there is any hustles and bustle, MPOWER is over there to help you out,
Absolutely, absolutely. And so the best thing about MPOWER we hear from students is that lack of stress. If you're studying abroad and you know your house is on the line, you know that your parents are on the line for education, that's so stressful. When you have a no cosigner, no collateral loan where the payments don't change, that stress is reduced so you can actually focus on studying and not on your family situation, which is great for the student and great for the family too.
And no cosigner, no collateral, that seems to be very too good to be true, but it's true. And that MPOWER is providing that to our Nepali student also. And I would like to thank Claire for your time, valuable time, and have your pleasant stay in Nepal. And we hope to continue our conversation in other days also. So I would like to thank you for your valuable time and the information that you share with us and to our valued viewers who are students and even the parents also. Thank you for one more time for your valuable time.
Oh, thank you, and thank you for inviting us to Nepal.
It's our pleasure to have you on our studio.
Thank you so much.
र उहाँ हुनुहुन्थ्यो क्लायर आल्मन्ड। म अघि कुराकानी गरिसकेँ कि उहाँ एम्पावर फाइनेन्सिङको एसोसिएट डाइरेक्टर अफ मार्केटिङ हुनुहुन्छ र नेपाली विद्यार्थीहरू जो युएस र क्यानाडामा आफ्नो अध्ययनको लागि बाहिर जान चाहनुहुन्छ, विशेष गरी मास्टर्स डिग्रीको लागि, त्यसको लागि तपाईहरुसँग तपाई राम्रो पढ्नुहुन्छ, तपाईसँग सबै चीज छ, तर तपाईसँग चाहिँ अलिकति फाइनान्शियल कन्स्ट्रेन्ट छ भने पनि एम्पावरले तपाईलाई लोन दिन्छ। अघि नै भनिसक्नुभयो कसरी पाउन सकिन्छ भन्ने बारेमा तपाईले वेबसाइटमा पनि जान सक्नुहुन्छ। एक हप्तासम्म उहाँ क्लायर नेपालमै बस्नुहुन्छ, उहाँसँग पनि तपाई कुनै न कुनै बेला भेटेर पनि कुराकानी गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ। भनेको मतलब के हुन्छ भने उद्देश्य तपाईले राम्रो लिनुहुन्छ र तपाई चाहिँ अगाडि बढ्न चाहनुहुन्छ भने कुनै बाधा हडल्सहरु चाहिँ के पनि हुँदैनन्, त्यसलाई सजिलै पार गर्न सकिन्छ। तपाईलाई सहयोगी हातहरु पनि आइरहेका छन् र त्यसमा तपाई अगाडि बढ्नुस् भनेर हामी शुभकामना पनि दिन्छौं र तपाईको आगामी दिन पनि राम्रोसँग व्यतीत होस्। आजको लागि कार्यक्रम गुड मर्निङ नेपालबाट बिदा माग्नु पर्ने बेला भइसकेको छ। यहाँको शनिबार भोलि हामी कार्यक्रममा आउँदैनौं, आइतबार बिहान फेरि तपाईको गुड मर्निङ भन्दै हामी आउनेछौं। त्यति दिनसम्मलाई हामीलाई बिदा दिनुहोस्। यहाँको दिन शुभ रहोस्। नमस्कार।